Reid Hoffman.
And what was your business?
I'm the co-founder of LinkedIn.
You co-founded LinkedIn?
Yes.
In what year?
2003, but AI startups now.
So you're getting into AI right now.
Yeah, well, I've been in AI since I led the first round in OpenAI. So I've been in AI a bit.
So let's go back to those early days when you're building LinkedIn. What was that initial moment that you knew that this was the thing that you were going to go all in on? What was that first moment building LinkedIn when you knew that, okay, I'm burning the boats, we're going all in on this thing right here?
Well, actually, because I'd learned from SocialNet, PayPal, etc., you burn the boats early. You don't like get confidence and then burn the boats. You go.
Why do you say that?
The kind of key element of risk is take a risk that other people won't take that might fail, but if you win huge.
You weren't afraid of failure, though.
With rich people is that they take risks. They're not scared to fail. They have confidence in themselves. They have confidence in their idea, and they go all in. Right with Reid Hoffman, he went all in. He didn't care what anybody had to say, and he went all in. And also sometimes you gotta know if you want to go all in with one idea or two ideas. So you do you want to share your time with ideas, or you want to go all in with one, right? Some folks, rich folks, will take either side, but you got to figure out what works for you.
Little afraid of failure, but I knew that I could survive failure, that I could play again. That's the key thing, is make sure that you can play again.
So how did you find yourself believed to go make billions of dollars?
I think it was that I had a good sense of I knew what strategic game I was playing, and I knew I could play multiple times, and I knew that doing software things within Silicon Valley was a very good place to be doing it. If I was in New York, I might have been doing something else, finance, etc. If I was in LA, I might have been doing media, but no, this is the place where you can do software.
Now, you started LinkedIn in 2003.
Yes.
Was that during a time where a lot of people were doubting the fact that those social networks would actually be prevalent years from then?
Well, everybody in Silicon Valley thought the consumer internet was done. It was only like Amazon and Google and PayPal and so forth. And then actually, in fact, they thought it was enterprise software and clean tech. So it's like, oh no, the internet's over. And by the way, what are you doing this business thing? Is that like Friendster but for business? What is that?
So you had a lot of people that were telling you no, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, more than 2/3 of my smart friends thought I was going to be a complete failure with LinkedIn.
Right. Sometimes your friends, people around you, people that know you, might not believe in you. Sometimes it might be out of love. Some people might just be haters, and they might not believe in your idea. The only person that you need is to believe in yourself, and to believe in God, and to believe in your idea. And once you're able to do that, now you can go full force into tackling that idea, and solving a problem, tackling that problem that is ahead of you, globally, not locally.
Actually,
Yes.
why did you not listen to them?
Well, you do. You want to go to people and you want to say, what's wrong with my idea? Why will it fail? So they give you permission to do that. And then what do I know that they don't know? Because if you have a good theory of that, that's the chance that you might have something that's really amazing.
So what was it that you knew that they didn't know?
The most common feedback was a network property. First person in, no value. We know each other now, no value. We already know each other. So no value, no value, no value. How does the thing ever grow? And I knew I could get it to grow even when people didn't actually, in fact, have any value in the system at the beginning.
Throughout your career, what was the most amount of money that you made in a single year?
One of the things that's amazing about having co-founded LinkedIn is last year it did $16 billion in revenue.
LinkedIn did $16 billion last
Yes,
year?
yes.
How much did you sell LinkedIn for?
We sold LinkedIn for $26 billion
To who?
to Microsoft.
What was that conversation like? How did you exit LinkedIn for over $20 billion to Microsoft? That's incredible.
Well, so what happened is Satya Nadella, Bill Gates, came down to the office and said, we're interested. I was like, well, okay, let's talk about it. They think it's one of the best acquisitions they've ever done.
Was it worth it for them?
It was worth it for them, and it was worth it for me.
Well, what's your secret to networking with other billionaires like Bill Gates? Like, let's say somebody doesn't have a ton of credibility. Before you had all the credibility that you had, how did you build those relationships with those A players that were able to take you places that money can't take you? The biggest social networking platform in the world. What's your best networking advice for anybody in business?
The key thing is think what you can give someone. So what's something that you could do that would help them? So for example, Satya Nadella started calling me because I'm like, oh, here's what you need to understand about Silicon Valley. And he's like, that's really helpful. That helps me as Microsoft engage with Silicon Valley. And similar, when talking to Bill, I don't say, hey, Bill, you're just so great. He is great. But it's like, oh, here's something that's going on in the modern world of tech. Like, here's something about AI that I see that you may not have seen yet.
So has Bill Gates become a friend of yours?
Yeah, Bill's great.
What do you notice about these people? Among the most successful people that you've gotten to know really well, what do they all have in common that's enabled them to be part of that 0.00001% of the top 1%?
Well, there's three different things I'm going to say. I'm going to give you three. So one is curiosity. So like intensely wanting to learn. That's like Satya, Bill. Another one is just raw grit and kind of like, I am going to make this work, right? This is a whole stack of different people, but like, for example, Patrick Collison or others. Then the last one is kind of understanding, what do I understand about the world that other people don't understand? And that's a little bit like, for example, frequently Peter Thiel as the contrarian hypothesis. Can you do for me? That happens all the time for people. It's like, no, here's something that could be useful to you. And by the way, maybe you're wrong, maybe it's not useful, fine. But when it is, you get attention, you get the beginnings of a relationship.
You were talking about 2/3 of the people that had told you no in your network.
When you're trying to befriend a billionaire, right? You want to come in as a giver, not a taker. Because once you come in as a taker, their guards are up. There's no relationship being built. There's no trust because almost everybody that's coming to them, they come to them for something. But if you can think differently and come in as a servant, as a giver, now they're looking at you differently. Now they're trusting you. Now they know that, you know what? You're not here for the money. You're actually here for me. You actually want to help me. And once they see that, now they can invite you in to their inner circle. Right? So you gotta know how to help them any way you can possible. Find a, little crack in the hole that maybe they might not be good at, and you can help them with that. But freely do it. Freely give, freely receive.
You were a huge role in PayPal getting acquired for $1.5 billion from eBay. What's your best negotiation advice for any entrepreneur in business right now? You've been at the table with some very heavy hitters. Give me your best negotiation advice for anybody in business.
So the way to think about it is companies are bought, not sold. So if you're selling, you have a problem. You want them to come in and buy you. So the question is, how do you get that to be their idea that they are coming to buy you?
I hadn't heard that perspective before, that they're bought, not sold.
Yes.
How did you get in that mindset shift?
Well, it's because part of the thing is, it's like the dynamic. If you show up, just like you show up to a venture capitalist and you say, hey, I'm trying to sell you on this thing, then the person kind of rolls back and like, okay, now this is me being powerful. You're trying to sell your company to me. Whereas like, oh, well, I could be selling to somebody else and I've got this thing that I'm doing. And it's like, no, I want that. You have to think of the psychology of the person.
And what's the most difficult decision you made that paid off?
Oh, wow. Probably starting my first company, SocialNet. And by the way, SocialNet didn't pay off, but it got me into the journey of doing it.
How did you deal with that adversity? Because a lot of people, they see social media nowadays that it's all glitz and glamours and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But you had some adversity, you had some failures at the beginning.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that?
Billionaires have adversity. Sometimes the first business doesn't work, right? Most business owners don't make it through their first year. So imagine if you stuck it out. Imagine if you stayed consistent, right? It's all about sticking it out and never quitting. All right? If you stay in the race, you always got a chance. And a lot of people are not in the race. So they don't even have a chance at all, right?
How did you learn how to pivot?
Well, what you want to be doing is saying, I'm not just playing a one-time game, I'm playing a multi-time game. And I'm expecting that I'm going to fail along the way. Some, because it's not that you want to fail. It's not that you celebrate failing, but you celebrate learning in order to win.
I'm going to have you dig deep on this one right here. I'm going to ask one more piece of advice that you got from a mentor. Give me one from the dad. Give me one from somebody in that network that you had that really changed your life from a business standpoint.
Well, when someone actually tells you something that you really need to hear that wasn't something you were originally planning. So I was networking my way to VCs early, and one of the lawyers that I actually talked to said, hey, look, you're a friend of Lori's. Let me just tell you, you're not going to be able to raise money right now. You need to go prove your credentials at launching products first. Go do that first, then go try to raise money. And that's what I went. I actually went and ended up working at Apple Computer World, and then built a network around me, and that helped me.
Did you take on a lot of capital to scale?
Well, in today's term, de minimis, but it was $5 million in the first round.
Nothing after that? Or?
Oh, no. Ultimately, we raised about $140 million.
What was your secret to raising capital? It's one of the hardest things for business owners to do because investors, they invest in people and they invest in businesses, not ideas, right?
So the best thing is think about what kinds of things investors are looking for, something that's going to be amazingly big, and they're looking for things that they think is the current trend for what's going. So like AI, things are good to pitch, although if you say, hey, it's an AI milkshake, that won't work so well. So you're looking for that, and then you're looking for, why is it you're going to take a bet on me? So like a VC looks at 600 to 800 deals a year and says yes to 0 to 2 of them. So why would they take a bet on you?
So when you're pitching to investors and so forth, to VCs, right? You trying to pitch as much as possible and see which one sticks. But at the same time, you got to be very strategic, because when you're going into those meetings, they're looking at everything you do, everything you said, everything that you've done, right? So you want to be as strategic as possible going into those meetings, right? And some of them you might do well, and it might just not go your way. But I'm sure once you continue doing what you're doing, eventually you'll get the right partnership, brand partnership, capital that you're looking for. But once again, if you just only do one or two pitches, then you might never know how much money you can really get, right? So you want to put in the hard work, but also strategize when you're doing it as well.
Being edgy that way is really helpful.
So what's the number one thing that you look for in a business or a person when you're deciding to make an investment? As somebody who's been one of the most successful VCs in the game.
It's being surprised about something that could be amazing. So like, for example, when I met with the Airbnb co-founders, I told them in 2 minutes I was going to make them an offer to invest because they had gone, we've seen something that no one else has seen, which is eBay, but for space, and here we go.
What's your most contrarian opinion about the future of industries that venture capital will be investing in that maybe a lot of people will disagree with you on?
Probably that the world of bits will be greatly accelerating the world of atoms. So part of the reason why I just co-founded a company curing cancer with AI is because AI will accelerate how we discover new drugs. That acceleration will also be like, for example, robots. That acceleration will be manufacturing. Like we will figure out how to build much better, cheaper, faster houses because of AI.
What's the most common mistake you see business owners make in today's world? You became one of the most successful VCs in modern time. You've been on the board of a lot of successful companies. What's a blind spot that a lot of maybe even successful founders have that you see across a lot of companies in today's world?
It depends a little bit on which game you're playing. But within the tech startups, it's not taking the bold enough risk. You're trying to make sure that you're successful versus, hey, I'm going to try this. And either it's going to be spectacular or I'm going to die. And that's okay or I'm going to die.
Now, you wrote a book called Blitzscaling. What is the most effective way to scale fast?
The important thing to do when you're scaling, blitz scaling, going really fast, getting your company large, attacking a market, is to say, how do I make decisions in a way that I do not take my foot off the accelerator? It's like when you're driving, you say, am I going to get off this thing or not? The time that I can make the decision is by going full speed ahead. So you say, hey, should I go into this market? Should I launch this product? Should I hire this person? Well, what's the way that I do that? Not ever slowing down.
Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, the reason why they struggle to scale is because they want to be that solopreneur.
Yeah.
They want to wear all the hats themselves. Yeah. Who is the most important to hire in any business?
So one of the things that's most important to hire or partner with are the people who add their strengths against your weaknesses. So for example, I'm a creative problem solver. That's really good. I need people who run like all the trains on time, who are very operationally tight and buttoned down. And so you're looking for the person who is the right partner for you.
How important is vertical integration to whatever business somebody's involved in?
Well, it's
so important in business to pick the right team, right? Having the right team around you is super crucial, especially from the top down, right? You want to pick the A players and you want to keep the A players as long as you can, right? If they want to start go off and start their business, I think you support them, right? Don't want to hold them, don't want to be jealous about that. You don't want make them fly and make them do their things. But A players, you want to hold on to them as much as possible. And to give you a better idea, you can check out the book How to Make a Few $1 Million by Brad Jacobs. The link is in my link tree. So you can comment down below if you want me to send it to you. Right? But one of the most important things in a successful business is having the right team. Right? That one will take you from $1 million to $1 billion.
important to know what game you're playing, and if the game is vertical integration, then to do it well. One of the things I got wrong is I thought we would have individual subscriptions as the primary business initially, and it was enterprise. And you pivoted. And the way we learned it is we said, look, when we launch individual subscriptions, we had companies coming to us saying, we'd like to buy. And we're like, the companies are coming to us, customers are coming to us. All right, make a slide deck, complete image, and send it out saying, this is the product we're building. And the sales guy came back with purchase orders. And we're like, okay, we're building that product.
How old are you now?
I'm 57.
How old were you when you became a billionaire?
Probably 38, but I'd have to really go look at it.
So if you had to start from zero and you had 1 year to make $1 billion and your life depended on it, what would you do?
Do something that's very different than what other people would be doing. Now, there's a lot of AI stuff right now, but what would be something that would be, I just started a cancer drug discovery company, but that's not a year. That's like 5-10 years.
So do you think in decades then?
Yeah.
Long-term?
Yes. I almost never play a 1-year game. I play a 10-year game.
Why is that?
Because part of, again, where it's contrarian is most other people don't think about 10 years. They don't think about how you compound to 10 years. And compounding to 10 years is one of the things that gives a differential edge.
But even if you've already had an exit.
Billionaires don't think 1 month, 1 year. They're thinking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, because they have such a big idea that is getting ready to change the world, right? And if your idea is not changing the world, then it's not big enough. God is waiting for you to have such a big idea to stretch your imagination so it can change the world. All right. And that's the difference between everybody else a billionaire. That's why there's only a handful. Can you have an idea that's getting ready to change the world in 5 and 10 years?
For over $20 billion, you still are still thinking that
Oh,
long
yeah,
term?
absolutely.
Why is that? Like just
Well,
because? Or?
because that's actually how you create something that's epic, that changes industries.
And looking back to that exit, what was the number one thing that led to an exit over $20 billion?
It was a realization that building a network and getting growth in the network and then monetization could come later. So, like, frequently when people think of business, they think, well, I got to have someone pay me right now. It's like, no, no, no. Actually, like, build the network and then the business will be built on top of it.
So was the grind to become a billionaire worth it for you?
Yes, but also not just the money, it's the changing the world through the product.
One more message for the younger generation aspiring to become successful and a self-made billionaire like you.
Life is a team sport, not an individual sport. Pick your team.
I love it.
To sum up that interview, it was an amazing interview, right? If you got to rewind it over and over to get some nuggets from it, go after it, all right? But, you want to have a team, really important. You want to think globally, not locally. You want to think 5, 10 years ahead and how your idea can change the world. All right, see you in the next episode.